today I'm going to make one of my favorite breakfasts. Welcome in. This is, I usually add protein powder, and I have that linked in the bio, in the shopping cart. So this right here is pineapple and orange, fresh pineapple and fresh orange. And I love these smoothies. They fill you up. And because I put protein powder in it, it is it's high protein. And then I do also one of my protein bars that I made yesterday. So I'm going to add my coconut milk, about half a cup to a cup. I add some fresh kale from the garden. Okay. And then I add, you need your liquid. I add berries. I like the cherry berry mix. I really like the cherries, and blueberries are one of my favorites. So I add the cherry berry mix. I'll add a few extra strawberries that I have here. And then I add some stevia for sweetness. But this is a high protein breakfast. I used to do this before work in the morning. Works really well. Here's some frozen strawberries I'm going to add to the batch. Okay, and then I take some out because this will be enough for a couple of days. So, here's the strawberries, the cherry berry mix, the coconut milk, and I have to put the stevia in. I guess I'll put the rest of this kale in. Usually I have frozen kale, but this is fresh kale. Here's the stevia, doesn't add any sugar. Okay, put it on here, and this is going to make some noise. On the protein powder. So this is a Vitamix, so it's going to get noisy. Start on low. And then when it starts mixing up, you can go higher. And to really get it mixed up, I use the highest setting. Okay, now I'm going to separate this out into at least 3 servings. And 1 serving I usually keep in my smaller blender so that I can just put protein powder in it later, because I'm only going to put the protein powder in it after this is mixed up. So I'm going to fill this up. And I'm going to fill most of this up. Yeah, and then I have my protein powder. I usually use 1 scoop. If you want to, you can use 2. But I use the protein powder. I put that in here. Okay. And then I mix it up some more. Now this is full for tomorrow, but I think I can fit a little bit. I have to be able to fit a scoop of protein powder in here. So I close that up, so tomorrow or whatever day I can just shake this up and then put the protein powder in it and put it in the smaller mixer, which works really well because the Vitamix has done the hard work. So that is for that. I put the protein powder in. Again, start on low. And I have a recipe book in my with purchase. If you check the link in my bio, you can see that I have Health First weight management blueprint. And with the purchase of that, which is on special for $9.99, you're going to get a free recipe book, 5 recipes that are high protein. And I did 2 of the recipes yesterday. One was the high protein brownies, and the other was the high protein protein bars. So, and then the other day I did the apple cinnamon cottage cheese bake that I use for when I'm going to work, because I can just scoop a piece of that out, and it's very high protein, and I usually use yogurt instead of any kind of cream. So this now has the protein powder mixed in, and that is my serving for today. See, it makes like 3 or 4 servings. Okay. Actually 3. This made 3. So, and that is basically it. It's a really fast breakfast. You can do it anytime. Coconut milk, frozen, I use frozen cherry berry mix, or you can use the triple berry I used to use all the time. I added some extra strawberries. I added my Premier protein powder. I added stevia. I added kale, and it's fresh orange and fresh pineapple to the mix. And that makes a really great breakfast. So that's what I usually do. And you can check the link in my bio for, if you're on weight management, what you can do on that. And I do have that free recipe, and there's a free checklist as well in the link in Beacons. So if you want to download that and see how to age gracefully and why we need extra protein, and the research is in there. So I've done 39 pages of a lot of research, my own story about weight loss. I've lost 40 pounds so far. I've got a little more to go, but it gives you all the different medicines that you can that are available right now, plus one that I think will be approved, and the guidelines. Like I said, why high protein is important, why we don't lose weight as we age, why it's harder. So I would check the link in my bio. I've tagged the protein powder down here. You can use 2 scoops or 1. I usually use 1 for the smoothie. This is a fruit smoothie. I usually use coconut milk, but you can use almond milk as well. And I used to do this breakfast all the time on the fast metabolism weight loss, which is a diet I really, really liked, and then it didn't work anymore. And so I went to the doctor and told him that I needed to, he needed to figure out something, because he kept bugging me about my weight. And I'm like, look, I've tried, and the diet I used to do and work doesn't work anymore. So it's either you do something or you don't bug me about the weight anymore. So that's when he recommended for me tirzepatide. But those are all in the weight management blueprint. And even if you've lost the weight and you want to manage it, you usually run across stalls. There's a way to break your stall. But those are all things that, you can do. So there's a lot of research in that blueprint. And should you order the blueprint at $9.99 introductory price, you'll get the 5 recipe high protein recipes that I created. And I'll have to send that out email temporarily as soon as I get your information. Because in order to download the blueprint, you do have to put your email in, and I'll know, and then I'll send it out. Now, I usually do the other one too. I want to set up the automatic, but I haven't figured out how to do that. There's 2 different programs, so I'm going to do that. Okay, well, that's it. I'm going to go have my breakfast, and look forward to seeing you again.